Good evening, council and staff. May I have a mover and seconder to call the meeting to order, please? I have councilors Alexander and Garwood. That the regular meeting of the Council of the Township of Springwater of December 4th, 2024 come to order at 6:30 p.m. All those in favor? And that has carried. Please join us in the singing of O Canada, which is a recording from the Forest Hill Public School Choir. Councilor, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest this evening? And not seeing any. Item 4.1, our delegation this evening has been withdrawn, so we'll move on to question period, and I will turn to the clerk for questions submitted.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. There have been no question period submissions for this evening's meeting.
We will now move on to our minutes. May I have a mover and seconder for the minutes of council, please? I have councilors Thompson and Fisher. That the minutes of the council listed herein be approved as presented. One, the minutes of the special meeting 2025-26 budget meeting November 18th, 2024. Two, minutes of the regular meeting of council November 20th, 2024. Three, the minutes of the special 2025-26 budget meeting of November 20th, 2024. Four, the minutes of the special meeting of council November 20th, 2024. Five, the minutes of special meeting of council closed session of November 20th, 2024. And six, the minutes of the special meeting of 26 budget of November 25th, 2024. Councilor, any questions or comments on these minutes? Not seeing any. All those in favor? And that has carried. We now have our minutes of boards and committees, and mover and seconder, please. Councilors Moore and Deputy Cabral. That the minutes of the boards and local committees and organizations listed herein be received for information. One is the minutes of the Cultural Heritage Advisory Committee, October 15th, 2024, and the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority meeting, November 22nd, 2024. Are there any questions or comments on these minutes? Not seeing any. All those in favor? That is carried. We will now move on to our action reports. A mover and seconder for these, please. I have Councilor Garwood and Councilor Moore. That the action reports listed items 7.2 through 7.4 be received, and that the recommendations contained therein be approved as presented. 7.2 is our short-term rental ZBA and OPA. 7.3 is our smart network solutions, and this is for the municipal easement. 7.4 is our 2024-59 PW 2024 Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Project Award. Are there any of these to be pulled for separate consideration? Any comments or questions on any of the action reports? All those in favor? And that has carried. We now move on to our information reports, and we have one here, and a mover and seconder for the third quarter council report, please. Councilor Moore and Alexander, that the report item listed herein be received for information, and it's our third quarter council expense report. Are there any questions or comments on this? Not seeing any. All those in favor? That has carried. And at this time, I will call on Director Heron for a development update.
Thank you, Your Worship. There are no immediate development updates for council and the public this week.
And our county update.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. A few items here. Simcoe County approved a $962 million budget for 2025. Residents will see a 3.625 increase, and that translates into 1.625% increase for operating, 2% increase for infrastructure and asset management on the county portion of their municipal property taxes in 2025. The budget focuses on the resources necessary to maintain existing services and address significant growth in communities across the region. The 2025 budget also allocates funding to services and assets such as infrastructure, long-term care, paramedic services, museum, transit, affordable housing, the Lake Simcoe Regional Airport, waste collection, economic development, tourism, and enhancements to our road networks. Simcoe Council also approved YMCA of Simcoe Muskoka's requested funding of $5 million in total for a new multi-use facility in Barrie. The funding includes the original $2.5 million that was approved by council in 2019, plus an additional $2.5 million due to inflationary considerations and increased construction costs since then. Staff's recommendation to approve the full $5 million requested from YMCA of Simcoe Muskoka contingent on the development of a multi-use facility to service the city of Barrie that includes transitional housing for youth and enabling the leadership of a multicultural center in partnership with the Simcoe County Local Immigration Partnership. Simcoe County Council may also be reconsidering the previous decision of council respecting the composition of Simcoe County Council to 33 members, comprised of 32 councillors plus a full-time warden made earlier this year. A notice of motion to reconsider the previous decision of council was introduced at the November 26th, 2024 meeting. The motion proposes that the past decision that addresses council composition be reconsidered. The notice of motion will be considered at the next meeting of Committee of the Whole in January, where council will vote on whether or not to reopen the question of council composition. And one that I found quite interesting for a while back was the idea of pool insurance. Simcoe County Council approved joining the municipal insurance pool and authorizing signing the form of subscription in the municipalities in the County of Simcoe subscribers agreement to join the municipal insurance pool. In addition, council approved financial support for the startup of the municipal insurance pool. The report presented to council outlined the proposed insurance pool structure, financial projections, governance, and administration to start up the municipal insurance pool. Each participating municipality is requested to complete and submit the form of subscription within the subscribers agreement by March 1st, 2025. This will allow time to set up the advisory board and then become one of the founding subscribers effective June 1st, 2025. The municipal insurance pool will allow subscribing municipalities to gain greater control of and reduce an existing substantial expense by 13 to 20% immediately, and then by an anticipated 19 to 27% after setup, representing $1 to $2 million in savings over the next 10 years for each municipality. One thing that was noted was municipalities that don't sign up at the very beginning and decide to sign on later on, the costs would be substantially more, I guess. So that's it. Unless you want to add anything, Mayor Coughlin.
Yeah, and I think to that I will add, and I know how much our CAO enjoys accolades, but this insurance pool was brought forward to the county by our CAO as an initiative of its own and has had much traction and much support from across the county, and it is literally saving millions of dollars across this county. So thank you, CAO Schmidt, for your initiative on this and for leading the way. I would offer you the microphone, but I know you'll say no, so. At this time, then, we can turn to members of council for municipal updates. and with many tree lightings and parades and everything across. So I will start with Councillor Fisher.
Thank you. On Sunday, Midhurst had its tree lighting at the local pavilion. Beautiful tree. Now we do it every year. Last year we actually acquired a fire, so we do have a nice fire set up for everyone to come around. I think the numbers grow every year, and it's becoming a really excellent thing for the community. We also have hot chocolate and coffee for people coming in, and I was joined by the deputy mayor, Councillor Alexander, and Councillor Moore this year, and yeah, I think it keeps growing, and it's certainly become sort of a staple in the community. So.
Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. So I've had the privilege this last year of working with two amazing groups, the Anton Mills Recreation Association and the Minising Recreation Association. And we have a couple of big events coming up in the next couple of weeks. This Saturday and Sunday is Christmas in the Village in Anton Mills. It will include Saturday the 7th, starting at 5 o'clock with a tree lighting, fireworks, fire trucks, hot dogs, hot drinks, snow tubing, Santa, and more. And it will end on Sunday the 8th with a Santa Claus parade running through the community starting at 1 o'clock. So hopefully everybody's really anticipating that and will join us there. And would remind the public to be generous in bringing non-perishable food items in support of the Elmvale and District Food Bank for both days. On Friday, December the 13th in Minising, we'll have our tree lighting and tractor parade. Join us at the community center for hot chocolate and the tree lighting at 6:30, followed by the parade. And volunteers will be collecting food for the food bank along the parade route. I've also had the privilege last year of working on the library board with an amazing group of volunteers. The Springwater Public Library news is Santa is coming to town. Saturday, the 14th of December, there'll be story time in both the Midhurst branch and in the Elmvale branch, so please come and bring your kids. In helping to prepare for that, the holiday bag sale starts in our branches December the 9th, and it's $10 per bag. And the Creative Adult Gingerbread Pizzazz in Elmvale and Cookie Decorating in Midhurst are both on December the 10th. Thank you.
Councillor Alexander.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. One, thank you to Councillor Fisher for inviting us all to the Midhurst tree lighting. I've never been before, and it was a lovely, lovely event. So that was very nice to go to, as well as the Santa Claus parade. I'll leave that to Councillor Garwood to speak to. But again, as always, the Lions Club puts on an amazing event. This Saturday in Hillsdale is the Hillsdale tree lighting. It runs from 6 to 8 p.m. There is horse-drawn wagon rides, face painting, pizza, treats. Firefighters will be selling Christmas trees. So all sorts of great activities going on from 6 to 8 in Hillsdale. Again, food bank donations are greatly appreciated, and hope people can make it out to enjoy.
Councillor Garwood.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. I have quite a few things here, so bear with me a moment, but it's been a busy couple days in the Elmvale community, which is quite exciting. I'll start off with the inaugural Elmvale Christmas Night Market. This was spearheaded by local business owners and supported by the Elmvale BIA. Last Thursday and Friday evenings showcased the display of our local businesses, and I think has established an annual tradition for the community. We suspect a couple thousand people were out supporting the business community and showcasing or kicking off the start of the holiday season. The same evening, on the Friday night, was the Elmvale Christmas tree lighting, which is run by the Elmvale Maple Syrup Festival Committee. Each year there is live music from EDHS students. We have the Sugar Shack. We have a local maple syrup producer there. So it is very festive. Again, thank you to the mayor for joining me that evening. So we kicked off the holiday season there with lighting the tree. Also, the same evening was the Elmvale Community Recreation Association Holiday Turkey Bingo. We filled the community hall We had over 200 people in attendance, which was pretty incredible. We actually had to set up and find tables and chairs because we weren't expecting that many people. So that was really exciting to see. And same with the tree lighting. There had to have been too many people to count, which was really nice to see. On Sunday, wrapped up the weekend with the Elmville Santa Claus Parade hosted by the Elmville and District Lions Club. Again, always puts on a great show, and Councillor Alexander, the Deputy Mayor, and the Mayor and I had a great time there, connecting with lots of residents. I'd also like to speak about the sleigh ride in the village, which is happening this Friday evening, and which is the last Christmas activity of the season for the Elmville community, at least, that is happening at 6 p.m. at the Elmville Community Hall and the parking lot, and obviously throughout the village itself. And I would like to give a special shout out to Huronia Centennial Elementary School for their successful Tim Hortons Smile Holiday Smile Cookie fundraiser in support of the Mindful Mornings program, which this council has supported in the past. The Elmville Tim Hortons and their group, they were the #1 Tim Hortons in the area for amount of money fundraised for the local community, which was pretty astounding, up against some pretty big locations in Barrie and Midland and Wasaga Beach. So quite exciting couple days in Elmville.
Thank you for that. Deputy Cabral.
Just wanted to add to that. I just want to make mention that there were 3 winners for the float, and I wanted to make mention that Springwater Fire took 2nd place. Was that what you were going to say?
know.
Sorry, go ahead. I figured that you missed it. Sorry.
No, you continue on, continue on.
Go ahead.
No.
You've got way more written down.
It's written here, and I just wanted to offer Chief Kirk and Fire Station number 5, pretty incredible float that they put on. It was, I won't say what place they got, but in my opinion, it was definitely the favorite of all the kids there, and it was quite lovely to lead the float and be like, the Grinch didn't steal our parade, and it was just so well done, and so much effort was put into it, and it's always nice to have the fire team leading the parade, and they do it with such enthusiasm, and I think it sets the tone for the entire day. So congratulations to Fire Station 5, and thank you so much for all, not just the award-winning parades, but all the parades and all the volunteerism that your department does throughout the year to ensure that happens, especially when Santa visits on Christmas Eve. It's pretty spectacular that they give up. And I would maybe turn to Chief Kirk.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin, and through you to the rest of council. I cannot take any accolades for this. The men and women of Fire Station 5 did a wonderful job, and I will be sure to pass on the many thanks from council. So thank you.
Also, this Friday evening, I will be attending an event where a local resident is receiving the King's Coronation Medal. This is being brought forward by MP Shipley and MPP Downey, and local resident Dan Clement, who was a counselor previous, who sits on and is very involved with the Elmville Maple Syrup Festival, the Elmville Fall Fair, and continues to be a local volunteer, is being recognized for his community contribution in a very significant way. So I'm hopeful that Mr. Clement will attend a council meeting in the near future where we can sincerely thank him for that. But I think that that's incredible that a local resident is being acknowledged in that way. So congratulations to Dan Clement, and thank you so much for all the service and volunteer hours you have given us over the years. This time we do move on to our notices of motion, of which we have 2. And for our first one, I will turn to Councillor Garwood.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. I will be pulling this notice of motion. It's a good news story. The school council had reached out today and had indicated that they have successfully received funding from another organization, and they wanted to be respectful of the taxpayer and the partnership that the township consistently provides with our local school community. So respecting that, they have indicated that for now, this request can be paused, understanding it might come forward again in the future. But at this time, I will be pulling the motion on request from the school council.
Thank you. And at this time, I will then turn to Deputy Cabral, and I'm looking for a seconder for this motion. Councillor Garwood, and I will turn to Deputy Cabral.
I take it you'd like me to read it out?
I don't want to read it.
Okay. Notice of motion regarding solar powered radar boards. Whereas Springwater Township recognizes the extreme importance of the well-being, safety and security of its residents. Whereas the growth in the township has given rise to a demonstrated increase in both cyclists and pedestrians utilizing our rural roadways, which lack clearly defined sidewalks, some cases shoulders, due to the nature of their original design. And whereas Springwater Township finds it desirable and prudent to make use of radar boards within our settlement areas to alert drivers when they exceed the speed limit and act as a speed monitoring and speed reduction tool. Now therefore be it resolved that staff be directed to procure solar powered radar boards suitable to our rural roadway settings where the speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour as a means to provide direct feedback and alert drivers of their speed with the aim to reduce excessive speed, enhance pedestrian and cyclist safety, and gather statistical speed data for analysis as desired, that the funds for the procurement of the solar powered radar board come from the Deputy Mayor's discretionary fund.
Thank you.
And
Deputy Grell, if you wanted to elaborate.
I find them quite useful from the very first one that came forward a number of years ago. They do alert drivers in a visible fashion that they're going a little bit faster. They're been well received in the settlement areas, but what I have also noticed over the last couple of years more so is especially with Google Maps and that and people using those is that a lot of traffic is being diverted to some of our rural roads and becoming much more highly traveled, especially in the summertime with cottagers. I've also noticed a marked increase in the number of cyclists that are on our rural roads. In particular, I see them on the Old Second, I see them on the 10th, I see them on the 11th. And I also see pedestrians much more frequently now on our rural roads too. And as the speed is 80 kilometers per hour, and I'm not suggesting the speed be reduced. However, I think it's important to let folks know when they're on our roadways that if they're going over the 80 kilometers an hour, I think it would do us well to be able to utilize these radar boards to advise them and alert them that they're in fact speeding. So that's the impetus behind this, and specifically for our rural roadways where the speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour. So that's it.
Thank you for that. And the clerk has made me aware that there has been communication and conversations from other members of council who fully support this motion that you've brought forward and that there is potential amendments. And my suggestion to members would be that rather than dealing with having 3 different votes on this, if it would be amendable to the mover to allow Councillor Alexander and Councillor Garwood to speak to this and have one motion as amended.
Be happy to do that, Mayor Conlon. I'd also like to advise that I did have further conversation with our Public Works Fleet Manager Ha with respect to the costing for these boards. I did provide the clerk with a number. I think we should go forward with that number. I was advised that it might be a little bit less, but I'd rather err on the side of caution and have money come back into the discretionary funds rather than have us have to come back again and do it later. So I'll let Councillor Garwood and Councillor Alexander speak.
Councillor Alexander?
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Cabral, for bringing these forward. One, I do think they're a great idea. I personally know they help me. There are times when I potentially am driving too fast, and it is a great reminder to slow down. So they do work. The amendment that I was going to propose, but I'm fine to do it however we do it. There is a bit of a change in that I am looking to potentially put it in a 50 kilometer per hour on Floss 4 as you drive into Phelpston. The park is on the right-hand side, or the baseball diamond, sorry. People are still going 80 plus when they hit that area, and then you have the row of houses. So I'm looking to propose something in that area with the funds coming from my discretionary fund.
And I do believe that is captured. I have Councillor Garwood and then Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin, and thank you to the Deputy Mayor for bringing this forward. I as well fully support this motion. Currently in Ward 1, we have 3 of these signs operational, and I as well have relied on them multiple times. We currently have them within the settlement area of Elmvale as you enter the community from various different directions. And while those are great, I'm pleased to see the focus on rural roads. Again, I had an amendment planned as well to determine a location, most likely for Floss Road 7 East. But again, I'm happy to jump into the existing motion.
Counselor Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. So I would propose an amendment as well, and would ask Deputy Mayor Cabral if he'd be open to this in light of CAO Smith's comments last meeting about staff putting up and taking down the ballers and all the staff time it would take away from. It seemed like we keep adding to things for staff to do. If he would consider adding to this, just having the install of these contracted out as opposed to our staff doing the install on these.
Counselor Thompson, I'm going to have to defer this through the mayor to CAO Schmidt. It's a couple of bands. I don't know what the amount of time would be. Doesn't matter to me how they get put up, to be quite frank with you, but if staff are in a position to do it, that's great. If staff are not in it, I mean, it's not quite the same as going and digging tar up off the road to get the bollards out and putting tar down and putting the bollards in, but I defer to CO Schmidt.
And I'm gonna defer to Manager Everhard on that because I don't know what the difference is between digging tar up and putting signs up. So in your opinion, is this something that we need to be mindful of, or is this something staff can accommodate?
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin, through yourself to the rest of council. Right now, we are in winter operations. Granted, some of these locations may be accommodated that they could be on existing hydro poles. The locations that would need locates and that would need a post dedicated for this would take a little bit longer, and we'd kind of have to see where we're at in our winter operations. But staffing wise and resource wise, we would be able to take this on internally. My one comment there with that is that these signs, although they could be placed in multiple locations or could be, moved from one spot to another, they are best to be honest, to be in a fixed location due to setup, due to the angle of the light and where they are best mounted and best positioned, that we would recommend that they be in a fixed location. Thank you.
Following Deputy.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Coughlin. I'm not, my opinion is when they do come in, it would be a reasonable expectation that it would be something that would be done around staff's time. I would think that having them in a particular location for 4 to 6 months would be reasonable. When we're talking about the rural areas, it's not quite the same as the settlement areas where folks are constantly coming into the same area on a regular basis. So I think I would like to leave the option of being able to move them down the road available to council members who might want to suggest a movement, or even if staff recognizes another location they might be more suitable for. But I certainly, in my mind, don't see staff, 1 month here, 3 weeks down the road there. I would see them installed for probably in the neighborhood of 6 months, if not longer, if that area is an area that deserves to have it on a regular basis.
Thank you for that. And mindful of that, there might be an opportunity just to say they could be transitioned to other locations within 6 months. And then that way there's not an expectation that if a member of council calls and says, hey, I need this here tomorrow, that's not the intent of this. So thank you for that. And Clerk Marshall, if I could ask you to read a potential amendment, friendly amendment.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. So I've included the pricing that the deputy mayor received from Manager Ha. So that has been added. So the last clause of the motion I've amended to accommodate the friendly amendments. So it reads that an upset cost of $4,350 for the procurement of 3 solar-powered radar boards be drawn from the Deputy Mayor's discretionary fund, the Ward 1 Councillor's discretionary fund, and Ward 2 Councillor's discretionary fund to be installed at a most advantageous location to be determined in conjunction with staff, hoping that gives flexibility there. And then just looking for clarification if Councillor Thompson's friendly amendment is to be included.
I'm sorry, Counselor Thompson, but after hearing what, Mr. Everhart has shared with us, I think we're okay to move forward. Thank you. Just on that motion though, the 4380, I just maybe a little bit more clarity. That's per sign. Thank you.
And I will just turn back to Manager Everhart if there's any additional, no, all right, I won't turn back to Manager Everhart then. So this is a friendly amendment to basically include Councillor Alexander and Councillor Garwood's requests, which has been acknowledged and accepted by Deputy Cabral with the installment of the cost in there. Council, is there anything additional or further on this? Not seen, so we're not voting on this as amended. This is a friendly amendment, so it's one vote. All those in favor? And that has carried. And we are now moving on to, sorry, are there any additional items for future, sorry, any additional notices of motion? Items for future consideration? Councillor Garwood.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. May I put something on the floor if there's nothing currently open? Thank you. As council and the public are aware, the contractual policing costs of the Ontario Provincial Police saw a significant increase proposed for 2025. As of this morning, the Office of the Solicitor General advised of proposed billing changes and financial relief for our municipality. This is significantly more than anticipated, reflective of the conservative estimate of $285,000 provided during yesterday's budget deliberations. Today's news saw additional savings come forward. This additional savings was not incorporated in the 6.39 township portion or 4.36 blended rate council referred yesterday. Considering the news, I move to reconsider the removal of the Economic Development Officer in the amount of $95,993 from the 2025 Township of Springwater budget, and I would request a recorded vote, please.
And at this time, I will turn to the clerk for the procedure of a reconsideration, please.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. So Councillor Garwood has requested a reconsideration of the resolution from our December 3rd special budget meeting regarding the program change for the Economic Development Officer. I would just need a seconder for that. And then just a reminder that a reconsideration is not debatable or amendable. So it's just a straight vote at this point on whether we're reconsidering that motion again.
So at this time, I will turn and for a seconder, please. Councillor Thompson. Okay. And as Councillor Garwood has requested a recorded vote, I will turn back to our clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. So Councillor Garwood has requested a recorded vote on the reconsideration.
Clarification?
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. And can you just again advise council voting in the affirmative, voting in the negative?
Clerk Marshall?
Thank you, Mayor Coughlin. So voting in the affirmative would be voting in favor of reconsidering that Economic Development Officer program change. Voting in the negative would be voting against the reconsideration, and it would not come back onto the floor. Okay, so I will call the vote. Just when I call your name, please state yes or no. Councillor Garwood.
Yes.
Councillor Alexander.
No.
Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Councillor Moore.
No.
Councillor Fisher.
No.
Deputy Mayor Cabral.
No.
Mayor Coughlin.
Yes.
That motion has been defeated.
Thank you for that. Are there any additional items for future consideration? Not seeing any, we'll move on to our bylaws. May I have a mover and seconder for the bylaws, please? I have Councillor Garwood and Deputy Cabral. That the bylaws listed here and be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. 2024-100 development charges bylaw, 2024-101 101, the Traffic and Parking Amendment, 102, Appointment Licensing Officer, 2024-0, I don't know why I can't get the zeros and the ones figured out here. 103, Appointment of the Property Standards Officer, 2024-104 OP 2024-005 Short-Term Rental Property, 5,000-399 ZBA 2024-016 Short-Term Rental, 5,397 LH 2023001, and this is the 2020 North Orlake Road, and 5,400 LH 2024-004 2238 South Orlake Road. Are there any comments or questions on these bylaws? Not seeing any. All those in favor? And that has carried. And a mover and seconder for the confirmation bylaw, please. I have Councillor Moore and Thompson. That bylaw 2024-106 to confirm and adopt the proceedings of council at the regular meeting held on December 4th, 2024, listed here and be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. All those in favor? That has carried. And adjournment, please. I have Councillor Fisher and Deputy Cabral. That the regular meeting of the Township of Springwater does now adjourn at 7:06 p.m. to meet again a regular meeting on December 18th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.